Hello, my name is John, and today on Mono Story we're going to be talking about my thoughts on Frieren. So let's get into it and find out what it's all about. Frieren is a story about an elf by the same name called Frieren and her life. It explores her adventures with two other characters by the name of Fern and Stark as they go throughout the world having escapades and solving problems that are currently continuing throughout the world. And in doing so, show us the past events of what has occurred in Frieren's past and showing us what elements of her past now affect and created what is in her present life. Now, when discussing Frieren, a story made in a fantasy setting, the first thing we need to talk about is the beautiful art style and how it brings this world to life. There is so much about the art that makes Frieren what it is today. You could talk about when they're eating in the restaurant and how the food looks like something you just want to eat, and how when the fights are happening it feels like you're right there getting the wind pushed across your face as they're fighting with each other. Frieren has one of, if not the best ways to world build as well, making the world feel like you're just there and there's so much in it. It takes certain locations and it builds upon what these locations have and makes them more greater than they first appear. So simple examples would be when we are fighting these two demons in this castle, we are given so much of that location, not only just the castle but the jail as well as other locations in that place. We could also look at when Stark and Fern are constantly having conversations or scenes together. They are in different locations that show us just how vast the world is and how beautiful it is. And it's these sorts of moments that make the world what it is in Frieren. It isn't just a place where there is lots of action and there are demons running around. There's actually people living in these places, and these places are populated with things to do. One of my best and favorite times of world building isn't even including Fern or Stark or Frieren. It includes a different character by the name of Richter. And Richter is a character that is not in the main party, but he's working with Denken and Lorfen during the first class mage exam arc, and this character has his own store where he does magic to assist in the wider community, and he's assisting this old lady with this light and how it isn't working, so he fixes it for her, and in return his payment is nothing more than candy. And even he makes the comment saying, "I'm not a child anymore," but the lady's like, "Thank you," and just leaves. And it just shows you just that not everybody is going on these grand adventures in this world, and that the world actually has people who are just using magic like you would at a restaurant or at a fast food store. You're not really doing grand magical things. You're just doing the most basic mundane things to keep the society functioning, which then gives us further understanding that this exam is actually of more importance to Richter in this case, because he is trying to improve his life and get out of this situation where the only thing he is good at is something that he doesn't get credit for, even though he does a very good job. Now, the characters in Frieren as well, just amazing. There is so much depth to just every character. We could even just start with Frieren herself and how she has so much history as well as so much potential that it is crazy how much we can learn about her as the story progresses, because we have her one half where she was with Himmel and Eisen as well as Heiter, and how they fought to defeat the Demon King. And we can also look at the current story we're in, where she's now with Stark and Fern, and how they contrast with each other, but yet still get to the same result, where the demon or whatever they're trying to do gets solved. And that's really, really interesting to see, as that's what makes Frieren so good. It's the characters that they choose, as well as Frieren being the main character, makes the story so smooth and unique. It is also quite fascinating how each character has a certain goal or mission within the story. So we could look at simple things like Stark or Fern and how they want to get stronger and they want to be able to protect people. Where if you look at someone like Denkin, his goal of becoming this grand mage is not for power, not to be wealthy. It's because he wants to save his own city by a character named Mahato. And Mahato, when you first get to this arc of the Golden City, is a phenomenal character. The depth of this character is crazy as well. Like, we're talking, he's a demon that wants to be human. He wants to understand humanity. And it's one of the hardest things when we get to this point of the story, because up till now we know demons are not good people. They lie, they steal in the form of life, and they do not contribute anything to society other than devastation. But yet this character Mahato turns that idea and flips it on its head, because he takes the idea of being a demon and he wants to understand humanity. But in doing so, he realizes that at the end of the day, no matter how human he tries to be, he will always be that demon. And it's very hard having those two sort of actions or levels try to compete with each other, because on one hand he wants to understand humanity and be more human. He even follows a human at one point by the name of Gluck, but even that isn't enough to get him to be human. At the end of the day, in the 30 years, he was still a demon at heart. And so that character writing of such an interesting character is some of the best writing. And we can even talk about characters and interactions and their romance. You have Fern and Stark, who seem to have feelings for each other, but never truly say it. And as the story progresses, we slowly see them get closer together. And it's in those moments that we realize that they're two characters, even though having such hard childhoods and such trauma, are coming together and able to find that bond and security within one another, especially when they're fighting those two demons at the very, very beginning of the story. In the Aura Guillotine arc, where Stark and Fern are fighting these two demons together and they both defeat them together, and it creates a sense of bonding between the two of them, in my opinion. There's also another romance which is very interesting. It's not really told to us, but we can see it slowly happening in the story. And that's with Ubel and Land. And I'm telling you right now, why these two have not gotten together or done anything is blowing my mind. Land is one of the most quietest people, and Ubel feels like she'd be one of those people who would be out there, but she seems just as quiet as he is. And neither of them are saying, hey, look, I like you, let's, do something, let's be together, They're all like, maybe. And then moment will come, bam. And then they're just back to like, oh, I like you, I don't like you. But they never say it, and they never say anything. It's one of the biggest moments where I'm like, get together already, get together. But hey, that's me personally on a personal level. But the way that these two characters are written, so interesting. I love Land's character, how in the mage exam arc, he is not even at the exam. He's over somewhere else in his city or town doing something else. I think it was drinking tea. And I'm like, what the heck? How'd you get over the other side of town? But again, it shows just the character writing and the style that makes Frieren so good. And it isn't even just characters that are human. We're talking like Frieren. There's a character named Sidier. Sidier is like the most strongest elf in all of the world of Frieren. And let me tell you, her and Frieren clash because her character is built that magic is meant for fighting, where Frieren's character is magic is meant to be explored and used like for fun. So their characters clash, and even Frieren cannot pass the exam because Sidier says fail on this one piece of information, which is crazy to think about. That again is the characters being so beautiful in this story, and that's what makes Frieren so good. These characters, absolutely out of the park, beautifully written, great characters. In regards to the fights in Frieren, they are some of the most beautifully looking fights, and they're very unique. Yes, I understand Fern uses the one only spell. Okay, I get your point, but it makes it seem unique when we get so much different magic from the demon side, and that's what makes it so interesting, because the demons are very unique in the way they use magic. Some of them don't even use magic. There's one demon that has 4 arms and he's using 4 swords, and it's like, wow, this is awesome. And he looks so cool when he is fighting. The issue I have though with the fights in Frieren is they always end the same way, and it generally goes with Frieren winning, or Stark winning, or Fern winning, and there really is no consequence. Yes, in some arcs we get Frieren struggling maybe, or we get Fern and Stark actually being injured, but not a lot, and they seem to get out of it pretty fine. And the issue I have with fights in Frieren is that demons aren't as scary as they're supposed to be. So when they're fighting these demons, we're talking the 4-arm demon, we're talking the demons at the start, we're talking even Gaul isn't that scary, because Frieren deals with them with like one shot, or Fern blocks and deals with them as well in one shot. There really isn't anything to worry about. So initially we were worried when we saw the first demons in the guillotine arc for the first time. We thought, wow, these demons are strong, and then Frieren stops them, and then Stark and Fern win and beat them. But after that, there isn't really too much problems with them. They are consistently showing up in the story, even though the Demon King has already been deleted. So we would expect them to have gained more power or trained more, but not really. They're all so weak. Now you can make the argument that they are strong because they have beaten stronger magic users, but that still doesn't change the fact that whenever they fight or go up against Frieren, there is no competition. So initially we thought with the guillotine arc, with these 2-3 demons, they're going to be scary, but it's not really a problem because Frieren will deal with them. And so, okay, we've got the first demons, they were meant to be a lot easier, but as we go forward, these demons should have trained, they should have used specific magic. And so that is why it annoys me sometimes when I'm watching or reading about the demons that are in the story and they aren't able to do anything other than be fodder. They're basically fodder. Like, we've got a new arc coming out, and the humans in that arc that are hunting down magic users, especially what seems to be Sidier, they're more dangerous than any demon is, because no demon is able to even touch Frieren. I mean, it tells you something when the demons are unable to stop Frieren, but a plant is able to stop her. That tells you the plant is more scarier than any of the demons. Frieren, though, is not just about fighting. There are also elements of Frieren that are more slice of life, such as the shopping and the conversations between characters, as well as when they are enjoying food or going on an adventure that has little to no action within it. So a scene with such a thing is where they are trying to get Scene to join their party, and originally he doesn't want to join, but after Stark becomes sick and ill, he is then more inclined to join because of what his brother has said. And this feels more like a slice of life element because there is very little conflict in the form of fighting, but it's mostly got to do with words and emotions. And there are parts like when they go out drinking, when they're having conversations with each other and spending time with each other. These elements are more down to earth and expand what the story has to offer, as well as creating character bonds and giving us a break from the hard and heavy hitting action, but also creating some very comedic scenes, such as the time where Frieren had a bottle that could melt your clothes. That was very funny. So things like that allow for breaks as well as interesting ways of building the story. And so the slice of life elements of Frieren not only improve the story, but allow for those fight moments to stand out more vibrantly. So would I recommend you to go watch Frieren or read Frieren? And the answer is yes, 100%. You should spend some form of time indulging in such a manga or watching the anime where you just turn it on and there's none of this bogus, you're unsure if it's good or not. You just get to sit down and relax and enjoy the beautiful story that is Frieren. Now, it wouldn't be a first thoughts if I didn't talk about how it was shunned by Solo Leveling.
Let's get it.
Or Don to Don.
The award goes to Solo Leveling.
Season 1
Thank you
of
very much.
Solo Leveling won Anime of the Year? This ain't even Season 2. If it was Season 2, I'd understand. Not even. I'd understand at least a little. But it beat Frieren! Frieren! I have to be in an alternate universe.
Frieren is clearly way better as it has a lot of different elements within it. All Solo Leveling is ooga booga, get big, get erase, and bang, 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 bang. Okay? There is no elements of character development. The character development scenes, Solo Leveling got the worst ratings, okay? No one's there to watch characters who are not Solo Leveling or Sung Jin-woo. But in the case of Frieren, every character plays a part and the story has lots of different things to offer. And that's why you should go watch it. And that's my thoughts on Frieren. If you think that it's a good story or you are interested in it, I would highly recommend that you go take your time and enjoy it. And Season 2 will be coming out soon, so I'm very excited for that. And if you can't wait, go straight into the manga. We're up to this new arc called the Foundation Festival arc, and it's so interesting to see these humans that have the ability to stop Frieren or any other magic user, and their sole purpose is to hunt down Cydia, and this story is only just beginning. So if you don't want to wait for the anime, I recommend you get straight into that manga, you get up to the latest chapter, because you will be amazed at what is happening in the story that you anime only viewers are not seeing. And to everyone else, I hope you have enjoyed Frieren, but I want to hear what you have to say. So if you want to put something down in the comments and talk to me about Frieren, please do so, and I will be happy to respond as soon as I possibly can. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, press the bell button, please do so. This is John from Mono Story, and until next time, I will see you on another Mono Story.